We're back at it again here with another video with Invest for Tomorrow. To all the first time viewers and investors, welcome to the channel. To all the subscribers, welcome back. All I ask for in return this video, smash that like button to let me know you watch this video. Helps out the YouTube channel and lets me know you appreciate the time and effort I put into making these videos. Now, here we are with Bbig, and we're going to discuss all the data up to now as I make this video, the technicals, and what 42 Vision is showing, as you can see here in the candles, moving forward based off the 30-minute and everything that I want to share on my opinion and just some extra insight on what I'm seeing based off the charts. But before we jump into it, I want to share with you guys the ticker symbols I mentioned this morning. We managed to find 2 home run opportunities that jumped up nearly 20% in less than an hour, and we're going to get right into it here with Bbig stock. The 2 home runs of the day were spectacular, and we're going to talk about the stocks I mentioned this morning. And if this is something that interests you and you want to become part of, you're more than welcome to join us. The link is down below in the description to the Discord, and by joining, you'll become part of a growing community of investors all looking to learn and grow together. So, talked about FCUV. This one was at a higher level in the charts, which possessed more risk, but it gave multiple opportunities. We're going to look at that chart in just a moment. IPHA gave small jumps of 3 to 5%, 5 to 10%. PSTV, same thing as well. And YVR gave small jumps of 3 to 5% and 5 to 10% at its highest point of possibility. Now, our other one that we mentioned that turned out to be a home run for the day was SCPS. Now, this happened in a matter of minutes, okay? The bell opened at 9:33 a.m. In just a matter of 3 minutes, it got halted, and it was already up 20% plus. We're going to look here at the chart together, and this is when timing and execution is everything, okay? You could see this chart here has 42 Vision up, the indicator that you can gain access to as well in one of the tier levels over at the Patreon. But you can see how I went into weakness, mentioned it in the pre-market. That was the dip right there, and this was the rip. It was trying to hold itself off, and it just went into further weakness throughout the day, giving a highest point of 25% plus. Now, our other home run of the day was FCUV. You can see it here on 42 Vision. These were the points where there was more momentum. Every single time it took off 10 to 15%, 10 to 20%, but the highest point from this dip to this peak here was 20% plus. This one gave multiple times opportunities on the dips and the rips of 10 to 15, 10 to 20%, and 20% plus at a highest point. If this is something that interests you and you want to become part of, I would like to invite you to join us. The link is down below in the description. And this is what we strive to as a community to look for daily opportunities of 5 to 10%, 10 to 20%, and a home run is 20% plus. Let's go ahead and jump into these charts. So here we are with Bbig, and something I want to talk about first before I share completely everything that we need to watch for in the data and what's going on in the charts and what 42 Vision is showing. I talked about this since Friday, and from Friday it jumped up from $7 to $10, and that right there was a pretty big move. From that moment forward, it went all the way down towards the 5s, and it ripped back up nearly 100% plus in the next 2 days. So it's super important to be aware on what side of the story are you in when it comes to these squeezes, because if you're chasing them after the fact that it happened or started, this right here was pretty risky if you didn't know what you were doing, and if you didn't plan on holding, and on the way down you had a stop loss, or you got shaken out, right? And then guess what just happened? And then you chase it again. So what happens with that type of emotion is you keep on buying on the way up and selling on the way down, doing the complete opposite of what an investor should be doing. So with Bbig, I'm not saying that there isn't a chance for this to pop up again or go past $11, but it's super important to be aware that I measured this on Friday based off the history of the chart, and if it broke through that and it hit a new 52-week high, it needed to stay up there, and if it didn't, that right there was weakness, and it certainly went into weakness. It popped up again, hit a new 52-week high, and now we're seeing it going into weakness. Now the question is, could this be newer highs, newer lows, newer highs, newer lows, and the next part of this story is the next new high? That's a possibility, okay? Because the amount of short interest that's still out there and short shares, it's pretty significant, but it's not as significant as when it all started here and started around here in this story right here. This was the best part of the story. This dip right here has a lot to do with chasing and FOMO that actually pushed this up even higher. And then also the battleground versus the shorts. And some of those shorts from down here, and even around here had to cover, and it pushed it up to these levels. So it's something to be aware of. You got to understand the whole story and the whole map of how things are. And BBIG, where it came from, okay? It came from way down here at $2 and even lower in the past from like about $2, even $1, okay? So this is bound to go back down near those levels or somewhere in the middle of all this eventually. And the problem is a lot of investors are chasing what already happened here and what happened here, hoping that it's going to happen here. And I'm not saying it can't, but the likelihood is a lot less. So when it comes to short squeezes, you always want to be in the story before, right? In the story before the run, not in it, not after it when it's pulling back, trying to catch a dip, okay? This is not called catching a dip right here, that even though that was the lowest point of the day and it went all the way up to $9 and some change, that move right there was about 10 to 15%. That's catching a dip for a scalp. But if you thought you were going to hold and see it go back up to 11 or higher, that wasn't catching a dip, that was catching a falling knife. So super important to understand, again, what side of the story as an investor one is in and how to approach these with caution. Now, on 42 vision, on the 30-minute chart, we've seen strength in those times and we're seeing weakness, okay? And this is reminding me of what happened here. The only way we'll see this go back up or even try to retest those highs up here of $11.92, or if you want to round it up $12, is if this starts to reverse, okay? This has kind of slowed down here and kind of pulled back, and that's how it starts. When it's kind of sitting sideways, there might be a reversal, but there needs to be that transition of the candlesticks. And by the way, you can gain access to this 42 vision indicator as well by joining the specific tier level in the Patreon, and it works on all different time frames. We can put this on the 1 hour, and you could see here there was a lot more strength around here, and there's been a big shift here. See, this is a big difference here on the 1 hour. There was no red. There was still some strength, but here it finally shifted. And if it continues, it could get a lot worse and continue to pull downwards. One of the biggest things that pulled this down the most from its momentum currently is the fact that that 8K filing came out. But when you think about it in the bigger picture, it's holding itself up pretty well. The longer this holds itself up, the bigger the chance of a squeeze from the bulls holding it up and the bears and the shorts having to cover and ride this up with the bulls. Now, I found this article, and this is literally what I've said in the videos, that the only ones that can shake themselves instead of just going against the bears, it's the bulls themselves. And it says it right here, and this is from the Benzinga, and it says here why Vinco Ventures shares are falling, okay? It says it right there. Shares are trading 10% lower at $8.48 per share with abnormally high volume, possibly on profit taking. The stock has been volatile as traders on social media circulate it as a potential short squeeze play. Now, it is still showing 19 of shares sold short, okay, and percentage wise. It's still pretty high, okay? That's important to be aware of as well. But the pullback right now, most of all, it's profit taking. So if those that are taking profits get shaken out and the true bulls that are waiting for this to go higher or really battling against the bears and the shorts, this might even cause those bears and shorts to cover, holding it up here. But the more bulls that keep getting shaken out, the lower this could go. Now, when you go back to the data here, it is still showing 50% short float. I personally believe this is delayed. There has to have been some covering, and this has gone down to 40%, maybe 30%, and that's still pretty high. As long as it's above 20%, it is still pretty high. So this is pretty delayed. This is what I've been watching to see if it goes lower, because it can give us a vividness when it comes to have the shorts covered at all. And if they haven't, and the numbers are closer to that 50% or in the 40s or 45%, that is pretty significant and high as well, creating even a bigger possibility for an even larger short squeeze. But this one moved pretty significantly already. We've seen it go up to those levels, and what happens? It goes down. Now, it fell down pretty fast in a matter of like 2 days last time. This time the story's a little different. The only thing that's worrying me is it going to be like this story right here, where it would come down, come back up, come down, sideways, came back up, and then the whole trajectory was a downward trend until it hit the 2s. And this is way back up here at the 6s and 5s. So something to watch and be careful about. And you can see there's that shift again. It's getting that dark green. We'll have to see if it can hold up. So the main thing right now is the support, 789. If that gets broken through, yesterday's low, 733, and then all the way down here at 554. I'll watch those levels and see if the bulls try to reappear and bring it back up, or if the bears are tearing this one down fairly fast. Now, this is the first resistance level I would like to see the bulls break through, 1050, and then all the way up here at 1190, 92. I would just round that up to $12 so that can be a good point to watch and break out from to reach a new 52-week high and newer highs and new resistance levels. As always, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and let's make some money.